Audrey, Ms. Whitehead, this mic is all yours. Hey, Audrey, we're not hearing you. I don't know what is going on, but I don't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me now? There I am.
There you are.
Oh, so sorry. I was on the wrong thing. Okay, here we go again. Living a Course in Miracles. We had started a few weeks ago, and then there were a couple times where I wasn't able to be here, but we were just at the start here. We were talking about the story of the Course. And we had just gotten into that part, and we had gotten into then the voice and language of the Course is the next section here. We're on page 8, or I'm on page 8 here, and I'm just gonna start there. In reading the Course, it soon becomes clear that the voice of the Course is not that of any ordinary individual. It is clearly not written by an ego. Pick it up, turn to any page and read. It's not about the past, the future, or worldly events. There is no axe to grind. There is no agenda other than helping us achieve inner peace and therefore our own greatest happiness. The Course is clear, truthful, and filled with compassion and understanding. Philosophy seeks the truth through argumentation. Though logically consistent throughout, there is no argumentation in the Course. There are no proofs for the existence of God. The Course simply reminds us of the truth of being. The voice in the Course is Jesus, or the Holy Spirit, or your voice at your best. It is yourself, myself, ourself, one self, God or Christ. It came from one healed mind, which is all of us in our own right mind. And from the workbook lesson 125, it is your voice to which you listen as he speaks to you. The Course uses the phrase Son of God to refer to every child of God. While there are two possible genders in this world, there is literally no division. What is whole is not divided. What we are talking about is mankind as a whole, or better, spirit as a whole. If, when you read a sentence like, I am as God created, his son can suffer nothing, and I am his son. If it feels more comfortable saying daughter or child, change it to daughter or child. The purpose of the Course is to help us get in touch with the Christ self within. Words are but symbols of symbols. They are thus twice removed from reality. And so it's there that I feel like it's okay when I need to take that extra step if I'm just not feeling that I connect with the word God, that it's okay. It's a word is just a word. It's but a symbol. So, I mean, it's okay either way. If you can say the word and it doesn't have any charge, great. And if you say the word and it has a charge and you choose to change it until it doesn't have a charge, great. That's the point. It's all great or not great, however you define it. And the next section, only truth is true. A perennial philosophy. The course is one form of a universal curriculum, excuse me, and a unique path on par with the wisdom of the world's most profound spiritual teaching. What the course says is not new. How could the eternal be new? Mystics, masters, saints, and sages from all over the world and throughout the ages have talked about that which goes beyond perception. We find themes, songs, and representations of the course in the world's oldest philosophy, the Advaita Vedanta philosophy of Hinduism, Buddhism, Gnosticism, Christian mysticism, Sufism, German idealism, American transcendentalism, the New Thought movement, unity, religious science, Christian science, and many more thousands of forms. A quote from the German theologian Rudolf Otto says, "Whether the flower of mysticism blooms in India or in China, in Persia or on the Rhine, its fruit is one." The oneness, our oneness. And the course is not a religion. There is no hierarchical organization based on the course. There is no evangelism in the course. It is not about getting the word out to the world. It is about getting the word into the heart. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. A Course in Miracles is not about getting the word out to the world. Rather, it's about getting the word into the heart. I love that. Wow. Retaining the mind in the heart is inwardness. Letting the mind go out is externalization. If I evangelize, I must think that I am right and you need correction. If the word gets in, it can then be lived in such a way that other folks will see the efficacy of the teaching, and the world will be very subtly and effectively changed. Change comes not through revolt. It comes through revelation. The course is, as its name implies, a spiritual study. If you have an organized religion, you have someone on top, someone on the bottom, others in the middle, and ego games and jockeying for position. The course is simply a self-help book par excellence. It can be studied completely on its own, as it means healing all our relationships. It also means living the course in relationship with everyone we meet. Oh, I love that. as it means healing all our relationships. It also means living the course in relationship with everyone we meet. Absolutely beautiful. And then here's a little warning at the end of this section. A friend once told me that when he started going to Alcoholics Anonymous, someone told him that the program would mess up his drinking big time. In other words, if he stuck with the program, he would stop drinking. Stick with the course, and it will mess up the ego big time. We are going for nothing less than enlightenment. And then just to kind of use the words Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond, we can just say, to enlightenment and beyond. All right, chapter 2, let's go. Inward is sanity. Oh boy. Selfishness, aloneness, and insanity. There is a Danish story about a spider that lived high in the rafter of an old barn. One day, the spider decided to lower himself to a beam where he found the flies more prolific and more easily caught. He therefore decided to live permanently on this lower level. He spun for himself a comfortable web. One day he noticed the line down which he had come and said to himself that he no longer needed it. So he snapped it and destroyed the support for his whole web. A tiny thread connects us with the infinite. We have come from God and we are returning home to him. Everyone wakes up someday. Everything eventually returns to its source. Coming into the world, we easily become fascinated with the world and we forget about the source. We look at that thread which connects us with the infinite and think, that thing is in the way. We snap the line and we go mad. Here's a quote from the text, chapter 13. As you look with open eyes upon your world, it must occur to you that you have withdrawn into insanity. You communicate with no one, and you are as isolated from reality as if you were alone in all the universe. God calls you, and you do not hear, for you are preoccupied with your own voice, and the vision of Christ is not in your sight, for you look upon yourself alone. Our first interest is ourself. Let's be honest. We place ourselves at the center of the universe. Ourself is our first concern. According to a study done on response reactions during times of disasters, reported in Science News, March 1st, 2010, it was found that, not surprisingly, our first reflexes are selfish. It's the way it is in the ego's world, and it's been this way as long as there has been an us, a me, and an ego. Caring about ourselves first and foremost has given rise to the entire ego thought system. It's not that we're never altruistic or think loving thoughts or do loving things. Still, our first thought is for our comfort, our aches and pains, how our bodies look, our need for satisfaction, our status in the community, our finances, our relationships, and more. We think we are not alone in the universe. From chapter 4, the ego is the mind's belief that it is completely on its own. Oh, the ego is the mind's belief that it is completely on its own. I like that. So that's what that is. It's the mind's belief that it's just on its own. Oh, there are billions of people on this planet, but that does not keep us from feeling isolated. When I fell in love with my high school sweetheart, I fell hard. Although I had a loving family and loved nature and the farm I grew up on, this love was wholly new and different. It was the most wonderful, overwhelming, and magnificent thing I had ever known. We want to melt, to merge, to fall back into oneness. And I fell big time. We were young, and I wanted to wait until the completion of college before we got married. Needing, however, to get away from her alcoholic father and demanding mother while I was away at college, my girlfriend deliberately got pregnant and then ran away with another man. I was crushed, totally and completely. There was no getting her back. I felt abandoned by the only love I had ever known. And it was, I thought at the time, the only love I would ever know. Driving around in my car, I kept banging my fists on the steering wheel, crying, screaming, talking out loud to God and thinking, I am all alone. It's just me and the universe. We're all crazy. From chapter 14. This is an insane world, and do not underestimate the extent of its insanity. There is no area of your perception that it has not touched, and your dream is sacred to you. That is why God placed the Holy Spirit in you where you placed the dream. Yeah, my goodness, it is an insane world, isn't it? Really, it is pretty insane. I love that, the insanity of it is part of one of the stipulations of my child and his partner of them coming here to be here was that we were to refrain from speaking with the partner. And so that was at first in my brain, it was like, what? I had a whole thing, but you know what? I really did make the choice that I wanted peace over being right. It was so perfect. It's so perfect. This beautiful being that, I've complained about, but who has taught me so much that who am I to say how things should look, right? I've got this whole belief that the kids should be respectful to the adults and always should speak respectfully, or at least somewhat. And that's the way that that life should unfold and look like. But that wasn't my reality. That wasn't my reality. I had somebody standing there basically saying, no, like if I come to your house, you're not allowed to talk to me. And I decided, you know what, rather than wanting to be right about, no, you should respect the parents and you should be talking to us in a respectful tone. I decided to stop and really listen to that. And really, really say, okay, what is this teaching me here? Help me to see. Because when I ask, the answer will be revealed. Maybe not right that second, because again, that's me wanting an answer. But but to really let go and to see that in doing so and in saying, all right, like that's fine, you guys can stay here. I'm not gonna push, I'm not gonna do anything. And that turned out to them staying longer. And it also turned out into us talking. So me just letting go of that belief and wanting to be right about it all and how stupid is this idea, and just saying, you know what, I'm going to do this because that's what the person in front of me is asking. And I want peace. I don't want to be right. I don't care about being right anymore. Who cares that that's the way I've seen it being done my whole life? Well, I have news for you. My whole life has been a fraud. So my dog is barking out there. I apologize if you can hear him, but that's what he does. He barks. Always I'm like, why are you barking? And then here, because dogs bark. So I'm very grateful for like it's having that gratitude for even these situations that come up that are uncomfortable. But gosh, there's such great learning tools. I couldn't see that, even a couple years ago. So just the clarity comes, or the clouds sort of part away, and more is seen in my experience. Okay, so where do we first? Oh, this is an insane world. That is my God, please. Holy Spirit. Period. I love it. So yes, that was his girlfriend. I'm alone. Sorry, I misplaced my spot there. I went on a tangent. The first time I saw those two airplanes fly into the World Trade Center towers, the first thought that went through my mind was the beginning sentence above. This is an insane world, and do not underestimate the extent of its insanity. That's from chapter 14. There's no area of your perception that it has not touched, and your dream is sacred to you. That is why God placed the Holy Spirit in you, where you place the dream. There are many wonderful experiences in this world. At the top of the list is the love we feel that radiates from us to each other. Our eyes fall upon many lovely things, flowers, birds, mountains, oceans, and magnificent works of art. Our ears with delight are tuned to music, children laughing, kittens meowing, dogs barking, and the sweet voices of those we love. Our lips and tongues taste delicious food. Our hands reach out to each other, our pets, warm blankets, and more. And yet all these things are what the body's eyes see, and we are yet to remember our true identity. For the memory of God can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember, and that has relinquished the insane desire to control reality. When it comes to the ego's world, the Course calls for incredible realism. There is, it seems, a tyrant who wants to live within my mind. This tyrant tells me many crazy things. Hiding and subterfuge are cool. Greed is good. Anger justified, and war inevitable. To say the world is insane is not to condemn it. To say the world is insane is not to condemn it. It is simply to see things as they are within the ego's framework. Much of history is one battle after another, one tribe killing another tribe, one emperor squeezing out another emperor, one class suppressing another, one nation taking over another nation. As 19th century transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson expressed it, history is one damn thing after the other. Or, as English historian Edward Gibbon, author of The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, said, history is little more than the register of the crimes, follies, and misfortunes of mankind. The story of brother against brother is the oldest story in the Bible. As soon as we've got a body, we've got an ego. We've got projection and competition. And we've got trouble right here in River City, from The Music Man, in case you did not remember. Or in my case, I didn't know that reference. So thank you very much, Dr. John. The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. Wow. Yeah, project or miscreate. But I can see how that projection and miscreation falls away when the understanding has come for me, and then that experiential, oh boy, I've just had such great contrast learning that I just love how all of this is unfolding, and just the understanding of even what miscreating means. And just miscreating is just can be thinking, the imagination itself. That's what I'm seeing or hearing. The madness of the ego is seen in our great tragedies. I, Claudius by Robert Graves, about the Roman emperors of the first century, tells a story of a convoluted web of lies and intrigue woven initially by Caesar Augustus' wife Lydia, to be sure that her son Tiberius would become emperor. With complete self-absorption and unbridled ambition, she saw to the poisoning of all her stepchildren, and even, it seems, Caesar himself. Caesar's last words were, "Did I play my part well in this tragedy?" He knew it was a tragedy. The story of the succeeding emperors is a thorny drama of scheming and murder. Nero even killed his mother because she tried to tell him what to do. There was such self-righteousness and such unhappiness. There was little in the way of innocence and simplicity. So it is for the tragedies of Shakespeare or any of the great dramatists, or a contemporary soap opera on daytime television, Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless. Throughout the story of history, we find misperception, insanity, and unhappiness. Rarely do we find enduring contentment and the presence of the peace of God. That would not make an interesting story. It's 12 o'clock and we finished that section. I'm so grateful to be getting to read this book with you all, and I'm just happy to plug along here as long as it takes. I hope that everybody is having an awesome day today, this Thursday, September 21st. And I bid you all a great rest of the afternoon. And my pal Lynn will be coming to take the mic. But if she's not coming to take the mic, I'll just talk about something else, like how wonderful the trees look as they are the trees, the leaves as they swing around in my yard. When we first moved into this property here, we built our house in the city here. It was a fun experience we got to have, and we also planted 32 trees. Those aspen go straight up and they grow really fast, and pretty much all of them survived. Like, we can't even believe that they've grown the way they have, and just so perfectly, really. Maybe some would say a little too close together, but hey, we love that. And so yeah, so I just get to now look outside and enjoy these beautiful plants, and thinking too, I just had the thought about how their root system underneath the ground will be all intertwined. That's the way the trees, when the trees grow, they're all one sort of root. That's what I read anyway, that they all intertwine underneath. So I just love that feeling of oneness. There's like maybe 32 trees poking up, but underneath it's all one root system. And yeah, so that brings me to the end of my programming today, but I hope that that we, let me just see, let's just read. I just opened the book. I'm going to read this from page 105 here. It's a quote from chapter 10. Arrogance is the denial of love, because love shares and arrogance withholds. As long as both appear to you to be desirable, the concept of choice, which is not of God, will remain with you. While this is not true in eternity, it is true in time. So that while time lasts in your mind, there will be choices. Time itself is your choice. If you would remember eternity, you must look only on the eternal. If you allow yourself to become preoccupied with the temporal, you are living in time. As always, your choice is determined by what you value. Time and eternity cannot both be real, because they contradict each other. If you will accept only what is timeless as real, you will begin to understand eternity and make it yours. That's a taste of what's to come up in pages ahead. Oh, I just love this book. I feel like as I'm reading it, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just reading. Maybe I need to comment, but there's nothing to say when there is nothing coming up. I don't want to force just saying something. And Dr. John, he's just so beautiful in relaying his words. And I just feel like his words are my words at times, which is obviously part of that whole oneness. And it's absolutely like incredible. It's an incredible book. I love John's style of writing, just the flow, the tone, and I'm just happy that I have this book in my little hands right now. And yeah, so it's 12:05 p.m. Mountain Time, which I believe is 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure. I don't think there is another program at this time, because I think this time slot, unless somebody new is coming to join the game. I sure love the way that Pal Talk is just such a great platform. I mean, it's free too. And that's always awesome, right? Free. So yes, thank you so much again, everybody. And I'm just still on the YouTube. I wonder if I should just leave and
Yes,
There you are.
thank you so much, Audrey. Yeah, I was just waiting for you to quit and be done talking.
Oh, well, I was like, okay, well, I'll wait to see if Lynn comes because I
No,
didn't
I've
want
just been
I
here
wasn't
listening to
sure.
you the whole time. I've just been sitting here listening to you the whole time
Oh, blah,
and
blah,
waiting for
blah.
you to
I
say
guess
that
I
you were
could
done.
keep talking another half hour.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Audrey Whitehead. It's just wonderful to have you here. And I
Thank
love that
you.
you're reading this book. So we will see
Love you.
you again, later on another YouTube or Zoom or next week, whatever. Love you.